Hey, Colin Hiles here, aka the Mindset Guy, with today's training video, which is all about the power of questions. Now, the idea of this video came about from a conversation I was having with a friend, someone I hadn't seen for a long, long time. And of course, when you meet someone you haven't seen for a long time, you update each other on your life stories. And she was updating me on her life story, and part of her life story was, in her words, her lack of success of finding the right man. But when she got through to the end of her man story, she said to me, Colin, why is it that I just keep finding the losers and the weirdos and the married men? What's wrong with me? And as she said that, I know she wasn't aware of the power of those questions that just bubbled up from her subconscious mind. Now, the premise of what I talk about mind power is to change your results, you've got to change your thinking, right? Because thinking creates results. And part of thinking is questions. Now, you might have just said to yourself, is that true? Which was a question, right? See, the way that we think is, and the way that we evaluate experiences, the way that she was evaluating her man story, was through questions. Questions is how we evaluate something. And the challenge is that we have these habitual questions that sometimes are causing more of a disempowering feeling and action more than an empowering, case example of what I've just shared with you. So let's talk about why questions are so important first. Now, there's 4 things that questions do, especially empowering questions, especially questions that are a bit more thought through and a bit more deliberate in the way that they are structured. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So firstly, questions are thought directors. So if I ask you now, what do you do for a living? I'm going to direct your thought to answer the question. What if I say to you, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Well, now I'm going to direct your thought to a past experience this morning. What are you doing tonight? Well, now I'll direct your thinking to tonight, right? How are you feeling right now? Well, now I direct your thinking to present moment, but inside. You see, questions are thought directors. And this is why politicians, when they're being interviewed, often when they're asked a question, they'll answer it with a question, because it's the question, the answering of the question, or the asking of the question that is really the person that's in control. And they want to stay in control. So questions are thought directors. You can literally change the direction of your thought. You can send it into the future, into the past, into the present. You can send it internal, you can send it external, just by asking questions. Questions are also empowering mechanisms as well. When you ask a good question, you empower yourself. Rather than asking, why can't I get X? Ask, how do I get X? Or how can I get X? Much more of an empowering question. Questions can also help us tap our inner resources. So if I was to ask you, what time in your life have you been the most happiest? See, when you start thinking about that question and then you connect to that happy moment, you bring that happiness feeling, or a small amount of it, into the present. When have you been at your most successful? And what caused you to be at your most successful? What are your greatest gifts that you've been given? Your talents. See, questions like this tap these resources that we have that are inside us, ready to be tapped. Questions are also belief forming. That when we ask questions, we literally shape belief. When we evaluate our experiences, we shape our beliefs. Now, beliefs are often just assumptions that we make about ourselves, about people, and about the world in general that haven't been questioned, that we learned many, many years ago, and that we adopted as truisms. But they're not truisms. They are just assumptions that we accept as truisms. So when you ask a better question, you can literally start to take on a better belief. Now, I'm sharing with you now why questions are so important. That may shift your belief about the importance of asking better questions. So, this whole little section here around the why is about developing a better belief about questions. And questions are also catalysts for change. That when we ask a better question, we change our behavior. Behind all behavioral change often is a better question that we're asking. And happier, more successful people in any endeavor that you want to be successful in often are asking more empowering questions, are asking better questions of themselves. When they go through bad experiences, they ask more empowering questions. When they want to get more out of themselves, they ask empowering questions. When they hit a roadblock, they ask empowering questions. That is a differentiator. So that's why they're so important. Now let's look at how we can apply this, a simple little idea about asking empowering questions. Now on one of my previous videos, and I think it was the happiness series, I think it was the last video that I put together, I shared this whole concept of focus. And questions shape our focus, right? They direct our focus. And focus affects the meaning we give something, and the meaning we give something affects what we think, what we feel, and what we do. So focus is a very important part of getting better performance out of ourselves, or being more happier, or being more successful, or achieving more. What we're focusing on. Now in any experience, we could focus on a whole number of things. And focus is about concentration and awareness. When we really focus in, we build our awareness to something, or raise our awareness, and we really concentrate on something. Now, in any given moment, we're focusing on something. And often without awareness, the question that we're asking is causing us to focus on something. Like, my friend, what's wrong with me? Or why can't I find a man? That's causing a focus. Now, the challenge is, the way that the brain works is simple in that when you ask a question, it has to answer it. So if you ask the question, why can't I find somebody? It's going to give you an answer, and it may not give you a very empowering answer, because you're an idiot, or because you don't deserve somebody, or whatever it is. It's going to come up with an answer that's not a great answer. So first thing we need to do is get control of our focus by asking better questions. And as I talked about, in order to be more successful, to be happier, to achieve more, we need to have our focus in one or three places. Present, pleasant, or possibility is what I call it. If it's in any other place, then typically our focus is in the wrong place, which is causing negativity, and negativity attracts more of negativity. So present. It's all about being in the present moment, being totally present. Now, we can only ever act from the present moment. The challenge is that often we are physically in the present, but our mind is either in the past or in the future. So it's a past feeling that's causing us to act in the moment, or it's a future feeling that's causing us to act in the moment. So past is often to do with guilt and regrets and resentments. So if I'm resenting somebody or something that they did a while ago and it causes me to get angry, I'm behaving in this moment with anger. Or future is often about worry and concern and fear. What if it goes wrong? What if I make a mistake? And there's two more questions, by the way. So, and so in the moment, I bring fear into this present moment. And, a lovely thing about children is young children, only live in the present. If they had a watch, it would say now, because that's all they know. So their present is, like this, and their past and future are slithers like this. Whereas as we become older, as we become adults, we literally squeeze the present moment out. And our mind, past, future, is more often than not in these two places. So it's key that we bring ourselves back to the present, Now, what will be a good question to do that? What will be a good question to bring it back to the present? Well, a simple one. What's happening right now? And what's happening right now? So when you're starting to get fearful about something and you ask what's happening right now, it brings you into the present, aware of what's going on. And actually, right now, everything is fine. Right now, I'm safe. Right now, everything is good in this present. Or any question like that gets you into the present. Or what about pleasant? Right, often when something happens, like my friend, she's focused on what's bad about everything. What's bad about her, what's bad about men, what's bad about her life as a result of not finding the man. So she's focused on what's bad. If you focus on what's bad, that's saying where thinking goes, energy flows, right? If you flow into what you don't want, energy, you get more of what you don't want. So The key is to focus on a pleasant, find something good about what's gone on. You know, this is why gratefulness is getting so much airtime right now, the power of being grateful. Now, there's so much to be grateful for. There is always something to be grateful for. But here's a good question. This is one of my favourite questions. When something happens and you're bent out of shape, annoyed, angry, upset, pissed off, ask the question, what could be good about this? Now, there's a chance that your brain's going to go, nothing, right? But that's okay. Because what we want to do is we want to keep asking the question. And, you know, when the brain goes, nothing, there's nothing, you go, yeah, I know, but what could be good about this? What could be good about this? See, and that starts to get the focus on something that we could. See, when I asked her, you know, what could be good about what's been going on around men? It took us into a different way of thinking about the experience. She got to see it from a slightly different viewpoint. And she made some interesting insights about herself and the way that she makes decisions around men. It came from that question, what could be good about what's going on? How can it serve you? What can you learn from this? See, better questions. So what could be good about this? Great question. And then possibility down here. Often we're focusing on what we can't do, which is what she was doing. I can't find the man of my dreams. I can't find a soulmate. I can't find someone to have a great relationship with. Can't. Now the truth is, she can. And often when we use the word can't, you know, I can't start the day without my coffee. I can't get up early and go to the gym. More often than not, these can'ts aren't true. They're not true. They're assumed truths. And they're not true. So one of the ways that we can challenge these can'ts, one of the ways that we can challenge the assumption is to ask this question. And this is probably my ultimate favourite question. Because it presupposes positive. And presupposition, when we presuppose something, see, she's presupposing she can't find a man. And as long as she makes that presupposition, it will be true. She'll constantly get that result, get that result, get that result. But how do you change the presupposition? Simple, little question. What would happen if, ... And then you put the positive of the negative. So what would happen if you could find the man of your dreams? What would happen if? What would happen if is so powerful. See, if you imagine a load of sand and you pour water in the top and the sand just dribbles down, you know, it starts to make these kind of valleys as it goes down and it washes it creates the grooves. And every time you pour water in, it creates the same grooves. The moment you ask what would happen if, you flip out of that channel and you start to create a new channel. What would happen if? What would happen if? So what would happen if is a powerful question. So there we go. Quick video on the power of questions. I've given you 3 questions that help you keep your focus in the right place. So your action from this video is to keep your focus on present, pleasant, and possibility by asking yourself those 3 questions. Write them down, all questions like it, write them down and apply them. And of course, if you find yourself angry, upset, pissed off, annoyed, anything that's unresourceful, anything that's negative, ask yourself the question, what question am I asking? Is it an empowering one or a disempowering one? And if it's disempowering, change it into something that's a bit more empowering. Also journal, write down the questions that you ask in your journal as well. So there we go. Thank you very much for listening to today's video. Colin Hiles, the Mindset Guy. Please give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. 1 didn't enjoy it, 10 really enjoyed it. Quick bit of feedback. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Hold on, now did you enjoy that video? Well, if you did, I would like to show you how you can train your mind to perform how you want it to, so that you can break through to the next level with my advanced mind power training. It's totally free and you can get it by going to www.advancedmindpowertraining.com or clicking on the link below this video. I'll see you on the next video.